So this is our early morning walking. We've just packed up camp, and this is our West Highland Way today. It looks a bit more rustic, possibly a little harder on the foot.
And can you trust that you won't blow away in the wind?
So there is sunshine, rare sunshine. Sadly, I think the footpath ahead of us is going on the shadowy side of the mountain, so we're not going to get a heap of sunshine. We may get a lot this afternoon. Okay, that was tiring. We've just come up. I'll go back a little bit, maybe you can see, but they look quite small, but there's staircases all the way down to the bottom there. And with the packs on, that's the first time. That's been pretty heavy coming up those steps, but we're doing good. I think that's Ben Nevis coming out of the clouds. One of the ladies we met, or the couples that we met, apparently met another couple on the way, and they talked about us and said, not the couple they met, but the couple that we met on a path, a skinny little lady and her husband, who were cycling up from Land's End with a RV, like an RV impact, so they only had bikes and no real backpacks on, and they were going to their RV in the evenings and having a nice comfy meal and a comfy bed. But they later on met some other friends of ours en route, and they said, that couple, they're never going to make it, they're badly set up. And to that couple, if they ever see this, I'd like to say, yeah, stuff it, you know. We were nice to you, even though you were blocking the path to all the other hikers arrogantly, and you told me I had the wrong t-shirt on, and I don't know why people are like that, to be honest. But you know, we've done close to 300 miles, and we've done it with these packs on across all sorts of terrain. So when you're cycling up on an empty bicycle with an RV to pick you up wherever you are and have a comfortable bed, don't judge people who are doing it a lot harder than you. You know, everyone's doing it their way, but don't go ahead and, you know, talk to us friendly and then walk off and tell everyone you meet that we won't make it. That's not good karma. Take care. And I will just add, should have had a drink of water first. Look at my Michelle. She's walked harder and further the last 3.5 weeks than that couple will have done in the couple of weeks they cycled up. We're made of harder stuff, aren't we, Michelle?
Yeah, we're made of harder stuff, but oh, that was hard up those steps.
Was hard.
Oh, more hikers.
So that's nice. A group of 4 kids, young adults, not kids. They're doing the West Highland Way, and they told us there's another guy we might meet with a grey beard and a bad knee, maybe, who's walking Land's End to John O'Groats. So it's going to be really nice to meet someone that's doing our walk. Really looking forward. Maybe another hour, he said. That was steep. We're really getting our full training now as far as hill walking is concerned. These are all pretty steep. Going this stuff, Michelle. It's hard going. This is quite horrible walking up here, and that's the road that we got moved off of many kilometers back, way beyond those trees, and it runs lovely and flat parallel with this. And I really feel sometimes these walks, this what's this one called?
West Highland Way.
West Highland Way. I think they assume all hikers want to walk on this rubbish, and so they take you up in the mountains. And I'm not so sure that we couldn't have just come along that road and cut out this hill that we're on.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the road carries on.
Yeah. If it meets at the end, oh, I should be livid, because we could have cut out all of this nonsense. We don't want to do the West Highland Way. We just want to walk to Land's End on the nicest possible route. But look at this. This is so hard with a pack on. Honestly, we've climbed horrendous hills, really bad steps, and there's a nice paved road there. It's not a busy road, and it almost joins, about 100 yards or so, almost joins this track. Has nobody bothered to write a proper guidebook to walking Land's End to John O'Groats? There's got to be someone out there. There's a guy who's written a famous book, and I tell you what, he hasn't done a good job, because he hasn't bothered to do it the way we're going it, and he hasn't bothered to consider things like this. People are not wanting to walk the West Highland Way. They're wanting to walk Land's End to John O'Groats, and they're wanting to do it with beautiful, we need this lovely scenery, but we don't need to climb the top of mountains when it's not necessary. And some of you might say, well, why not, Steve? Well, because we are carrying all our food and our sleeping, and this burns an immense amount of calories, which means we have to carry more food, we have to eat more food. And when quite often there are days between places you can get food, it makes it more dangerous and more arduous, and a great deal more tiring. So, I don't know. I feel the Land's End to John O'Groats, John O'Groats to Land's End particularly, path and route are really very poorly documented. And there's only really one that people keep referencing, and no, I'm not impressed by his routes. They do it for their own reasons, you know, they do it for their own agendas. They've got to see this or they've got to see that. Well, not everyone's walking for the same reasons. Some people are walking this as a challenge and just want to do 1,000, 1,200 miles, which in itself is the challenge. It's not the challenge of walking up mountains in the West Highland Way. That stuff's so irrelevant to the overall journey. If you don't understand that, and a lot of people don't, put 15 to 18 kilos on your back and start walking from John O'Groats. And if you haven't understood it by the time you get to Inverness, then you'll never understand it. So we just met a guy, a local guy, walking his dog, and he said, yeah, you could walk along that road and get off this hill. He said there's the odd forestry vehicle on it, but it would have saved coming up in these high routes. So I do think that stuff should be made clear. I know people might say, oh, you're cheating the West Highland Way, but we're not really too bothered about cheating it to get, you know, we don't need to do the Ben Nevis ascent. It's not what we love the walk, but it would be nicer, greatly improved, by not scrambling over rocks the size of cars. So it's John Barrow. John Barrow, some chasing snails.
Chasing snails.
And
yes.
this fella's on the way up. We're on the way down. And how long have you been, John?
I've been the 12th of July. I started.
So what's that then?
That's nearly 2 months. Bit over,
just
isn't it?
over 2 months.
Yeah.
So you reckon to do it in 3?
I've got to do it before I'm 60, which is October.
All
so
right.
I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah. Good, man.
I think 6 days to Inverness, and then 7 days to Inverness. I'm going maybe
Great Glen.
Great Glen.
We've just done that. We came off the Great Glen yesterday.
Yeah.
And
is it pleasant walking?
It's not bad. It's not great. They ought to call it the Glen Way, really, but it's all right. It's not bad. Probably easier than this.
Okay.
Yeah, in many ways. A rare peak at Ben Nevis, almost unclad. Just a little cloud on the top. So far, this walk today's been absolutely gorgeous. We've liked it. There are a few spots where we could have made life a bit easier by following a road, but I think they're probably, in reality, we're on the right route. We've met some nice people, but they're all coming the other way.
No one's catching us up. We must be doing a good speed.
We met John there, who's also walking Land's End to John O'Groats. He reckons, when do he be finished by?
Well, he's saying October, but I mean, when in October?
Yeah. So he wants to get there before his 60th birthday. And Michelle and I, well, we're just soldiering on. Totally missed it. A stag. The camera's out of juice again. A stag just run down this, across this waterway. And he's up there somewhere, but I can't see him now. Scared a couple of sheep. Oh, missed it. Busy on this route. A lot of people all coming our way. I think just one group gone past us, Michelle.
Yeah, I think so.
A couple of young lads went past. Yeah. We'd stopped to get a Snicker bar out, and the rest of it is just people coming towards us. So obviously everyone's heading north. Good day, mate. Yeah. All right. So most people that are coming down here now will be just doing the West Highland Way, and there'll be many of them on their last day today. Some of them may stop yet, but most of them will be heading to Fort William, and this will be the last of their day. So, you know, we're quizzing them. Most of them don't realise that this is just a little small part of our walk. So we're just quizzing them on camping and the likes. And everyone's really happy because it's their last day. I can imagine how Michelle and I feel when it's our last day. It'll be quite amazing. All right, how are you?
Yeah, good yourself?
Good, good. What's troubling me today is this is our second day, or it's our second half day on the West Highland Way. And the trek is so rough. It's been so steep up and down that we're not really getting the miles done Michelle and I would like to have done. We're on our, well, it's probably getting to midday, so we haven't done a full half day of walking. We did a half-ish day from 3 o'clock yesterday, but we still haven't finished what we would consider to be section 1. So yeah, everything's a little harder than you assume, or a lot harder maybe, Michelle.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you believe it? Only hours later, and there's that road. Are you glad we walked the Highland though, Michelle?
No.
No.
I mean, it was beautiful, but I think it'd be just as beautiful from that road.
It would have been.
It was hard.
They've locked it this end, but probably only for cars. But that road there would cut out a lot of climbing. Hiddle-ho.
Hello, coffee time.
Don't know where Hiddle-ho comes from. It's not. We've never said it before. This would have been all forest up here at one time, but they've cut it all down. It looks a little bit barren. This is our first stop today. This is technically day 1 because we never started till about 3 o'clock yesterday, isn't it? So sort of day 1 for us. Yeah. And we've done the day 1 section. We're probably another maybe a few hundred meters from the start of the day 2 section, so we're quite pleased. And we're going to get today, if we can, to the town that's got a shop in it, which is about 7 miles from here. So we're doing well, and it's a lovely day. Lovely day in the Highlands, in the West Highlands. So we're at the spot, I think, of the Battle of Inverlochy. Something to do with the MacDonald clan chasing another clan. Quite interesting. I'll put a little signpost up, you can have a read. It's that time of day again where I start to feel a bit melancholy about the whole walk, which I do a lot, but it's just, I just expected the whole Land's End to John O'Groats experience, or John O'Groats to Land's End. I just expected the John O'Groats to Land's End experience to be a little more pleasant occasionally, and it's just a battle. You know, you can't walk together, barely ever any tracks where you can walk together and talk. It's a battle, it's a big hike, and we say to people it's a challenge walk, but I wish some of it wasn't a challenge walk, just occasionally. Maybe like a consecutive set of days, 2 days where you thought, oh, this is lovely, and the weather was like this. I mean, the weather's nice today, but the trek is pretty horrendous. It's just rocks and water and rocks and water.
Rocks and water.
And so I don't see a lot of people either that are not aching. Even the youngsters coming through, they're all aching and hurting and saying, you know, it's hard. I get that. I just wish it wasn't. I wish every day didn't have to be hard, you know. It would be nice. It would be nice to have it would be awesome to have a week of nice walking. And it just seems to me that the whole John O'Groats to Land's End experience is just going to be a battle. And most people are telling us some of the worst is yet to come. You've got to have a strong resolve to do this, you know. I'm not overly sure I have. But on days when I feel like this, Michelle picks me up and vice versa. But the initial sort of visualization of us sort of strolling along like this, it can't happen because of the boulders. And not only it can't happen, it hasn't happened in 3 weeks, apart from maybe the odd 10-minute stretch. So it's a fight. I know the Camino de Santiago, which is what we planned to do originally, is a much, from what I've heard now, much easier, more pleasant stroll with very little of this to navigate. You always see people walking the Camino sort of in groups, you know, talking to each other. You rarely ever see anyone coming along these paths, not one by one, and kind of aching. So 3.5 weeks of this now. We're probably getting up to 300 miles. We'll keep at it. I'll let you know if there's any bits that feel idyllic. I didn't film the young girl, we just met a young girl at a gated area where she went the wrong way around the gate and had to go another 20 yards around to get the gate. But she was really positive, like, hey, great day, good walking. She was really positive. But as she was the wrong side of the gate and we went round and met her on the other side, she just sort of opened up a little bit more and said she'd had a really hard walk and she'd met a guy who'd pepped her up, but she was quite tearful and feeling it really hard just a little bit earlier on. So it's interesting to see, as sometimes you'll see people that are like, you know, really up there and positive and just a little bit under the veneer, and they're feeling low and quite desperate. And she's got a long way to go, and she actually was hoping to finish today. I can't see her doing it. She's not super fit, you know. She's not, doesn't look like a regular walker, and there's a lot more than a half day's walk behind Michelle and I. So
she's wild camping, so yeah, she can wild camp.
Yeah, we tried to pepper, but I mean it's hard to. All I said to her to do was find a nice spot and camp tonight, and just, if you're going to be late back to work, as she was saying, just take a sick day off. And you know, you can't do it. She didn't look like, to me, I don't think there was much chance she was going to make today's walk. Anyway, good luck to her. I didn't film her, but I thought I'd share the story. We had a lady say to us, you should look up and see the beauty of the walk. Everyone she sees is looking down. you can't look up on these boulders. If you just walked around like this with your eyes up the whole time, you'd break an ankle because the ground is so rough. I've got one recommendation for Land's End John O'Groats that I think I would make off the bat from this early stage, would be go the other way. You know, you're walking into the sun, into the wind. It definitely is the wrong way, John O'Groats to Land's End, but it's our way. There's not much we can do about it. Now we're coming to the harder end of the day, when your energy is zapped a little bit and you've got to pull out those extra few miles to get the distance you want to actually go. But we are in the middle of absolutely nowhere. See what I mean? If you had to look around at this beautiful scenery, you'd break your ankles on these boulders and uneven ground. So you have to stop occasionally, take a little pause, see where you've gone, where you're going. We kind of need something good to happen in the next 48 hours just to lift our spirits a little bit. Kind of need something good. Little things sometimes, meeting someone, just, I don't know. If I could tell you what it is, it would be easier. Maybe a nice big long stretch of completely flat compacted grass. Rather than hours and hours of boulders and little fords to cross. It's when you come out into a valley like this, and as far as the eye can see, it's just more rugged pathways. And that's us for the next hour or so, walking one foot in front of the other, one person in front of the other, because the laneways are too rough. We've already done, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours of this today. Oh, more than 5. Would you say more than 5, Michelle?
Yeah.
Tell you what though, it hasn't taken us long to cut through half of this valley. But it is all boulders. You're walking on boulders, it's quite harsh. But we're eating away at the miles, kilometers even. But this stuff is really tiring on your ankles and on the soles of your feet. I don't know where we get the energy from, really. we were just saying, everybody says the Pennine Way is not a great walk. It's bleak, and many parts of it are not great to walk. But I don't know, can it be worse than this? I get mixed feelings from people. Some people say it's bleak, some people say but at least the paths are compounded grass, which means it'd be nice walking, you could put your head up. You know, you might wonder why we're wearing sandals. We met a lot of people that do wear sandals, and we're finding our feet are coping very well in sandals. If they truly weren't, we would be changing them out for hiking boots. But I've not heard any great reports from people in boots either. So we're going to stick with our Keen sandals, even though the ground is really harsh. Do you want to go up on that bank now, Michelle, or not really?
Not really.
No.
Maybe better. Put my way through the rocks.
That jogger said to us, didn't he, up at Dunrobin Castle, the guy said to us, all the first part of the walk is walking over boulders, and he's not wrong. It's not pretty walking. Now I thought he meant big boulders you had to literally climb over, but now I understand what he means. It's just really large rocks on all the paths, which just make the walking very hard going and very slow. You know, we're not
Oh, careful.
and there you see my ankle twisted over because the edge of that runs off. I can't even see where it ran off. So yeah, it's really just you're getting very few miles for your calories because of the effort that you're having to put into walking. It's either this up on this sort of kind of newly trodden way, or down there on the boulders, and even this bit is boulders. There really isn't a good option here. No wonder everybody that's coming up is saying to us they're tired. And we've done quite a big walk today. We've done more than a full day's walk, I reckon. The phone keeps running out of juice, so I have no idea how many miles or kilometres we've walked. All I do know is that now we're in a river, Xiao said. All I do know is that we've been walking a lot. You know, we had a reasonably early start to the day. What time did we set off, Michelle? About 10? Yeah, not before 10. So we got a reasonably, for Michelle and I, an early start to the day. And we've only stopped once.
One good stop and a little stop.
Yeah, one good stop, one little short stop. And what on earth are they doing with this path? They couldn't come along and make this a little bit better. I still complain a little bit about the whole Scottish authorities. You know, these are the most walked hiking routes in the country, and they should take a leaf out of the German and Austrian walkways, because they're a lot better, or even take a leaf out of our Australian walkways, which are a lot better. Just maintained, the pathways are just better maintained. And if you didn't have to spend so much time looking down at the rocks, you could spend a bit more time enjoying the majesty of this place. It's our first other person we've seen in over an hour. So we just met a young lad. and he's found a beautiful little camping spot. A little bit jealous we should have got there. Maybe we should, but we feel we've got to walk more yet. But he was saying once we get to the top of the rise here, he'd recommend that we stopped because the camping's not so good on the way down to the town, so we'll start to look out for a place to stop in the next hour or so. So we just met a Scotsman, a Polishman and a German man. A German man. And it's not a joke, by the way. And they were lovely, and it lifts your spirits a little bit because yeah, they're doing the West Highland Way, obviously, but they're doing it quite quickly. And yeah, they were nice to meet, a bit uplifting. Would you say, Michelle, that wearing the sandals has been good, or would it have been better in sort of like big waterproof boots most of the time?
To be honest, I think it would be hot, sweaty anyway, so I'd quite happy.
I don't know, I think we might be protecting our own, what's the word, valor by saying that. I think some good, really good quality hiking boots that were completely waterproof, with similar in socks, probably would have been a better option. Well worn in ones though, we would have had to wear them in at some other point. It's endless crossings, isn't it, Michelle? Look at this. We're nowhere from nowhere. Just where we like to be. I like seeing people. I like to see people. I'm not a hermit loner type person. I like company. I like yarns. But I do like where we are. I reckon this is our friend Matthew coming up behind us. Young lad, he's caught us up. Oh, we had half a day's, or no, we had 3 or 4 hours head start on him, but he's caught us. Dangerous building, please keep out. Matthew up ahead there has kind of encouraged us to go a little further because he saw more green on the map. We had a lovely spot, didn't we, Michelle?
We had a good spot.
In between the walls. Would have been really well sheltered. And I'm starting to regret it a little bit because we're now really getting a bit tired. In the end of the day, the shadows are getting long. There's the ram. Bothy down there, or a little house, which often means there's some flat ground. But we're all feeling a bit out of sorts at the moment. Have I filmed you before, Matthew? I have, haven't I?
I don't know.
I have now. This
Hello.
is Matthew, who dragged us away from our lovely little house, our little bothy we had up there. He said, no, you're all right. There's lots of open fields here. Look at this open field. It's absolutely gorgeous. So Michelle is up by the bridge. We're going to stop there. And we've got running water. So we'll get ourselves some running water. Make ourselves a brew. Make ourselves a bit of pasta or something. Matthew's got the same tent as us, haven't you, Matthew?
Oh,
it's the Elixir.
It's the best tent, I love it.
It's the Elixir, yes?
Oh, I don't know, yeah.
Is it a MSR?